Welcome back to the F&S Podcast. We back for another one. This is Matt.
What's happening? Josh in here.
Oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? Today this gonna be not gonna be one of our long ones, but we gonna touch on some things. Josh is gonna review college football 25, and I'm gonna talk
Yeah.
about the NBA 2K25 trailer that dropped, and we gonna transition over into the USA basketball. So, Josh, your
Yeah.
opinions on college football?
So first of all, I listened to your review that you put, and we share the same sentiments on a lot of stuff.
Mm,
The um the creation aspect is something that a lot of people enjoyed, and to be able to create your own player and put them in the school, or better yet, you could create players and throw them in recruiting classes.
yeah.
Like that was a dope feature. Um, for them not to have that, I don't know what the reasoning is behind that. Like why not? Like if you don't want people to edit existing players, fine, that's cool. But you should still be able to make it to where we can create somebody and throw them in there. Because that's part of the experience. That's
Mm-hmm.
been part of the experience. Um, but yeah, so I agree with you there. Now I've played the game so far only on Heisman. I've only played on Heisman.
Mm-hmm.
I've done a couple of regular play now games, and I've done Road to Glory. Which one would you like to hear first? The regular gameplay.
Oh man, you take the floor, man. You break it down. You know what I'm saying?
So, the regular gameplay on the play now, I'll just hit that first. The presentation is good. It's not as long as I would like it to be as far as the team introductions. Um, if you think back to NCAA football 12, 13, and 14, well, mainly 12 and 13 because 14 didn't do it good. But 12 and 13, it really was like its own experience seeing the introductions of the home team.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they have it in here is good, but it's kind of like it's just like a quick thing.
Do you
Yeah.
do you feel like it's as in depth as they made it out to be when they talked about it?
Um Not really, because they didn't. When you say stuff like that, you make it sound like you surpassing what you've already done.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and
exactly.
that's just not the case here.
Mm-hmm.
So but it's not bad though. I mean, it's still good in its own sense, but it's just not enough.
Right.
Somebody brought out the point when I was looking at other videos when they was like, back on the PS2, when the away team would be coming on the field, you'll be hearing the crowd booing.
Really?
You don't, but you don't hear that in these versions. So,
Do you think it's because they got the band drowning everything out? I know that
well,
was a big complaint about the band and all that. Is
I mean, regardless to what, the band can't be louder than 80,000
right?
people. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
if 80,000 people, whatever it is, whatever the number is, start booing, that's going to overcrowd the band noise regardless, because it's coming from every angle. Whereas the band, they just sit in one section of the stadium and you hear the music there.
Right.
So that's that part, but that's not a bad thing. I'm not griping about it. It's just something that I noticed.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the gameplay, so on Heisman mode, I get that you want it to be hard because that's the hardest mode, but it still needs to be realistic to a degree. Like, what's the point of having superstar offensive linemen when they just getting cooked by any and everybody who line up against them? Like, I've experimented with this. I would play with the best team, one of the best teams versus one of the worst teams on the game.
Mm-hmm.
and they would have star offensive linemen. I would go and look at the ratings. I'd be like, okay, so this offensive lineman, he's rated high 80s, low 90s, has a star, whatever, whatnot. And then I would look at my opponent's defensive lineman. Dudes be like 60s, 70s, you know, and they still cause all kind of havoc. They still wreak havoc. Like, this is something that I would expect to be more of a reasonable thing from Madden when you're playing against one of those elite pass rushing units, because you literally have to think fast about throwing the ball. But in college, it's never like really like that. Like, the talent gap is normally easily being able to be told, you know, the talent gap.
And I remember when they was warning everybody about this.
Which, okay, so,
I didn't know it'd be to this degree though. It's crazy actually. The offensive line is non-existent. It's very frustrating actually.
It is. I mean, and I'm not saying that it's impossible to be able to run the ball a few times here or there, be able to break something off, or to be able to pass the ball, but you got to think a lot faster than what you've ever been used to.
Yeah, but
you got to actually like, you can't slip on not one play from the quarterback standpoint, as far as setting your protections, trying to identify where the blitzer is coming from, sliding your protection from one side to the other, identifying who's your first option, your second option, your third option. Like, you have to literally play it like that in order for you to have an experience to where you can.
But do that even really work like that?
Huh?
Because they even work like that, because they blow through the line quick. I mean, they come through quick, dog.
It do because I've been experimenting with it, and what I did was, when I started experiencing that offensive line issue like that in the very beginning when I was first starting to play the game, what I did was I just created me a road to glory quarterback, and pretty much that was with the whole point of to get reps to deal with this, so I can get used to it and adjust to it faster.
So you looking at it as like a training mode before you get into the actual.
Right, exactly. So that's what I did. So right now with my road to glory quarterback, I started off with University of UAB, Alabama Birmingham, the Dragons. And I just recently transferred to Florida State because I was able to go over there to get a starting job.
Oh, so, I thought when we was over there, it said it was it said you was starting off rip.
Yeah, well, once I finished that 1 year, when you were first over there, once I finished that 1 year, I was able to transfer over to Florida State, because they had they said, okay, well, if pretty much if I come over there, I'll be starting. And at that time, when I first transferred over, I was probably like a 84 overall quarterback. So I was able to get that starting spot, and I was like, well, I'm gonna go to Florida State if I had an opportunity to. So, and right now my next game is Alabama, and they got Alabama like up there like their usual selves. So it's gonna be interesting to see what Alabama's gonna really be like in reality.
Good luck with that game, bro. Good luck with that game, even when no Nick Saban.
But pretty much it's used as a training ground to get me used to the offensive line being terrible. That's pretty much what it is for me. But anyway,
makes sense.
So back to the gameplay. So yeah, the offensive line. Yeah, they told us it was gonna be like this, but like how we talked about before, I still need things to make sense. If my average overall offensive line player on my team is like the high 80s, and the team that I'm going against, they mid 70s, I get they can cause some problems here and there, but not on a play-by-play basis. Like, I literally had some games where I got sacked for 3 straight plays. I mean, those are the kind of things that for people that have anger issues,
dog, look,
those are the kind of things that people will be slinging their controllers across the floor, throwing it on the ground, breaking it and stuff like that. Like those are the kind of things that'll get people to do those kind of things. So I don't know what the thought process was when they said they was going to make it like that, but
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I never played a game where the offensive line was just bad before, ever, in no game. I'm gonna be honest. Last time I played something like that, probably was on the Sega Genesis, where something was just ridiculous. That's it. Never have I ever dealt with this. So
so it is an adjustment period. Like anybody that's not willing to go through those pre-snap steps of trying to identify the blitzer. Like what I'm doing now more than I've ever done before is I'm sending wide receivers in motion to try to identify the defense. Because when you send a wide receiver in motion, if the cornerback follows him, that's a sign that that's man coverage. But if he stays on the side, if he stays on that side and somebody else shifts to him, then that's zone coverage. So you kind of know from that standpoint, okay, well, I know this could be this kind of concept that they got going on, so this is what I got.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to actually kind of think like a quarterback, offensive coordinator kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
To a degree.
Well, that's good, I guess, right? Or no?
It is, and it's
if
not.
If you're trying to have fun.
Well, no, I mean, when you think about it from the real life college standpoint, there's no defensive line that's this cold.
Not none?
Not even Alabama's defensive line is this cold to where every single play you about to get toe up. Especially when they going up against, worthy opponents, good competition.
Right.
Nobody's defensive line is this cold, and nobody's offensive line is that bad. Nobody's offensive line is that bad to where every single play they can't do. Like it's kind of crazy. So they OD'd definitely with that.
I'm gonna be honest. I ain't even trying. I made it to the playoff, right, with Eastern. In order for me to beat Notre Dame, I had to run. I couldn't pass, bro.
Right.
For whatever reason. So
now, what difficulty you play on?
Dog, I play on normal. Whatever that is. Like, I'm not. I have no shame in my game, dog. I'm not playing that on Heisman. I be getting cooked on the regular stuff. Why would I do that? That's crazy. Now I could play basketball on a higher level. No problem at all. I play that thing on Superstar and I play Hall of Fame against people because I don't like the cheesy stuff. You know what I'm saying? But
right. Well,
I'm not playing football on no Heisman, bro. That ain't happening.
That's another thing that I haven't done, and I personally don't really care to do it because whenever you play against people online, a whole lot of people, they just do that. They try to find a glitch, the unbeatable thing that no user can deal with.
Yeah.
And they just milk the life out of that. Like right now, that's the spin move with certain players right now.
Come on, college. That spin move's cold though.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie.
But it's OD though. Because if you see some of the clips, certain running back, he'll have like 6-7 spins in the same run, just like faking dudes out. And then one dude, he really abused it because he almost scored with a quarterback. I think it was the Alabama quarterback. He almost scored, but he literally on purpose ran back down to the other end of the field and then went back up doing the same spin stuff. So like
that could have been on a lower difficulty, dog.
Whatever the case is, it don't make sense. Whatever the case, it don't make sense. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, now I'm wondering, like, did y'all really like put fatigue in this? Because anybody that's spinning like that on a regular basis, they ain't gonna be able to keep doing that.
One spin, you done. Maybe two at max.
Right.
Maybe two. Right.
So that's what's going on right now in the college world. I don't really know what the details of this update was that they put in, but
you know what? Go ahead. I'm gonna look it up because they just did another one.
Got you.
Go ahead. I got you.
Okay. But yeah, outside of that, what I do like is how aggressive defensive backs are. So you have to really be disciplined with your decision making, and you can't take a whole lot of risk because those things turn into interceptions. Like last year's Madden, right? The computer would let you live on certain plays because they would just bat the ball down when it could have easily been an interception. Even on the all Madden difficulty. On this college, it's like when the DB or DB linebacker, anybody, when they have an opportunity to make an interception, they going for the pick.
Yeah, look here, man. I ain't gonna lie.
Like, I'm not mad at that personally. Tackling, I heard tackling was a complaint amongst the community, but
it's angle based.
Yes, and people got to understand you just can't hit stick everything.
Yeah, it's angle based, dog. Like,
right,
it's angle based. And dog, I done got burnt on a few. One broke tackle, they gone.
Right, which is like, for college, when you playing with the elite players against bad teams, that can make some sense. But when you playing against elite versus elite, those things should not be as frequent. Not that they don't happen, but they shouldn't be as frequent. So yeah, like the other day, was it yesterday or was it the day before? One of them days, I played with Kansas, who was ranked 22, I think it was. And then I played against Utah, who was ranked number 12.
Right.
And I don't know how I did it, but I shut them out.
Okay.
It was 30-0. I was kind of like, dang, I was sitting here expecting something to happen.
He telling y'all he cold like that.
No.
That's what he telling y'all right now. It's a warning.
This was the first time that I shut somebody out, because I definitely wasn't expecting to be able to do that, because Utah's offense and defense is both rated in the high 80s, whereas Kansas, only the offense is in the high 80s and the defense was only rated 82. And so when I looked at their team, I was like, okay, so they got 2 good corners, they got 2 good safeties. Everybody else is like a work in progress. It's like high 70s kind of deal. So it was like the very first drive that Utah had, they was able to break off some big runs, but then I was able to stop them when we got to the goal line, made them settle for a field goal, and they missed the field goal, which is kind of crazy.
So I found some patch notes. All I can find really, they be real brief with these. Right. So it say the first one, we know about the first one, right? With the logos and all that good stuff. That's the first one. They sent another update. You talking about this new one they just did?
I didn't even know they did another one.
They did one the other day recently. So it's like fixed away team not being able to change offensive audibles and online head-to-head. That's crazy. To not be able to do that, dog. Then reduce frequency of roughing the kicker from AI players on field goals. I've noticed that. You know what I'm saying? Roughing the kicker. Fix the rare issue of snap going behind QB. I haven't seen that, but
that roughing the kicker stuff, that I was able to benefit from that twice in that game. It's cool when it go your way. It is. I benefited from that twice.
And then it just states stability servers and improvements. So I mean, it really, I don't know what stability server improvements. Whenever they say stuff like that, that could mean broad. That could mean a myriad of things. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I don't know. Right. Yeah.
But yeah, outside of those things, the offensive line definitely is the thing that needs the most work. Like if the offensive line would get some work done to it, that'll be dope.
They should. They probably going to. I mean, they do title patches. Like how many title patches Madden get a year?
I think they get like 3 big ones per year.
They gonna have to address it.
I don't know, man. I mean, because I don't know what it's like with user to user play online. And like I said, I'm not interested in doing that anyway. So
or playing online?
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah. I'm not interested in playing random people in the world that I don't know.
Oh, no, I got you.
I'm not interested in playing them.
I got you.
Now, if it's me and some of the fellas and we do something and stuff like that, then yeah, okay, I'm all for that.
Yeah.
But if it's just me and some random person that done looked up all the glitches and found out, because those things come out and they get very public real quick. You know, like I be seeing stuff every now and then when I scroll through YouTube, the unbeatable play in whatever video game, or the best defense to run, and the other, like, I'm like,
yeah.
all of that stuff. I'm like, look, dog, I ain't doing this with no help. I'm just trying to do this with my personal football IQ, and because I still haven't created a playbook yet. Like right now, I'm playing every single game based on the playbook that
they let you do that.
Yeah,
shots. You know what I'm saying? They even let you do that.
You create something. Now, Road to Glory. My beef right now with Road to Glory is this: you can't play all the positions on the field. For offense, you can only create a quarterback, a running back, or a wide receiver. And on defense, you can only create a linebacker or a corner. So they left out the line.
You can't play as a safety or nothing?
You can't play as a safety.
Oh.
That's my beef.
I don't know why you... Okay.
That's one of my beefs. The second thing, if you play defensive back, corner, them camera angles, man, they need to fix that, because them camera angles is not good for the position.
So even when you push up and down and all that, the camera don't change?
You only got 3 different camera angles. One of them is real zoomed in tight on your dude.
Yeah,
to where
I know that one. That was terrible. You can't see nothing around you.
You can't see nothing around you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I always end up having to play with the one furthest backed out so I can see the field and what's going on. But yeah, man, they need to fix that. Like,
what type of camera would you be able to get? What's your suggestion?
So, I think the best camera for like the defensive backs and whatnot, I think the best camera that they had was like featured on like the 09 through the 14 series of it. Because on the PlayStation 2 versions of it, they just had the regular gameplay camera and you just was locked on your guy.
Is this like an exclusive Road to Glory camera, or was it available in game?
I don't know. I haven't tried that. I mean, I would think it would be.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. Now, I have my own theory about the reason why there's only those 5 positions available. I feel like the reason why it's only those 5 positions available is because they made this Road to Glory transferable to Madden. And Madden doesn't have all the positions available for their superstar mode.
Oh, really? That's right. I guess, yeah. And it makes, so obviously them positions is what you playing in Madden pretty much.
Right. Yeah, if you transfer your Road to Glory character. So yeah, that's one. Oh, those are the 2 things that I don't like about that. This bugs me all the time. It's been irking my nerves ever since college football 12. If you create a cornerback and say you be like a 5-star or 4-star guy, they start your speed off. At least this year, they start your speed off with like 78. And I'm sitting here saying to myself,
there's a 5-star?
What 4-star, 5-star cornerback speed, acceleration, agility, change of direction is 78? Like who does that? Now, I haven't looked for no loopholes for this, and I'm not interested in looking for no loopholes for this because I just wanted to be just whatever. Yeah. But who starts like that? Like back in college football, the last one, 11, the one with Tim Tebow on the cover. That was the last one that for your position, you was like given decent ratings to start athletically.
But see, that don't even make any sense, because if you go into the recruits, right, in Dynasty, if you scout some of them dudes,
right,
they speeds be high, dog, like in the 80s.
That's what I'm saying. So why is it that in this Road to Glory mode, I'm starting off with a 78? And then on top of that, you make it more difficult for me to add to those attributes because those little skill points or whatever it is that they got for them.
Yeah.
The speed, acceleration, those cost the most. You're only getting like 1 or 2 per if you actually like trying to be a good student and trying to earn coaches' trust and stuff like that. Like if you're trying to balance that out evenly, you only getting like, I don't know, man.
I think they made some mistakes in that. I mean, but
but they've been making mistakes with that.
Okay, all right.
They've been making mistakes with that, so that's one of my gripes with that. So the skill points thing, I'm like, look. First of all, they give you 2 little points per week to be able to address certain things.
How many think they should get?
I don't know, like
at best, like say if you had a cold performance, like as far as in game, because you still get good skill points for doing good in them drills, right?
Right. See, but the skill points, they don't go to your spending bank that you can use to upgrade your players' attributes. They just like mainly go to like coaches' trust, from what I've seen. It don't make no sense to me. If you any kind of an athlete, your speed is not gonna be no 78 when you play in that position, because that's not even acceptable. That's not even realistic. You can't keep up with nobody.
Even if your change of direction wasn't all that, your speed, at least front to back, should be cold. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you give up a lot of plays just because you're not fast enough to keep up with the other guy.
Yeah, they wilding a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm saying? They tripping.
I haven't done the linebacker yet. I haven't done the running back, and I haven't done the wide receiver. So those are things that I have to try. But like I'm kind of discouraged from doing the cornerback position because I don't want to just give myself a 5-star, because I don't like this whole system anyway. Like I like the old system where you would get at least a state playoff, a state high school playoff, to have a certain kind of performance that will determine what kind of star caliber player you are.
You talking about high school game?
Yeah, because back on college football, 11, 10, 9, you would just play a state high school playoff.
Okay.
And then based on your performance in that, like say you lost the first round, but you did good, you would still come out with like a 4-star rating or something like that.
Yeah.
So you can determine how good you or your guy really would be based on your performance.
That makes sense.
And on 12, 13, and 14, you can do a whole high school season plus the playoff and work your way up and be like actually getting recruited, have teams on your list that you want to go to, certain teams offering you. Like it was a more better version of it.
Let me ask you this. Yeah. Did it feel like high school when you played those games? Was it like a high school type of atmosphere? Did it feel like
that? Yeah. It was a high school type of atmosphere, definitely. Like the stadiums is much smaller. The crowd is not as loud and anything like that. And yeah, it was definitely a high school experience. Awesome. And if you was able to make it to the state championship, then that's when it felt a little different, because the stadium would change because you would play in one of the top stadiums for the state.
Yeah.
So like I think if you create a player for Michigan and you made it to the state championship, you will be playing at Ford Field as opposed to your local high school stadium.
Yeah, that's dope. I never experienced that, so that's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, so I mean that's why I said like they put Road to Glory in here, but they gave it to us, but they took stuff away from us. So
yeah, that's why I said on the review, I'm like, I don't know. You would have a better aspect because
right. So, but yeah, the camera angle for cornerback is a big gripe for me. But outside of that, I mean, outside of that, like I'm not gonna complain because it's still solid. It's still a solid game.
Do you agree with that 7 out of 10?
Most definitely. is good enough to keep playing it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got enough in it to where you like, yeah, y'all could have did better here. Y'all could have did better here. Like, I like the game. I don't love the game. I like the game.
And that's all I'm saying. A lot of people, but I feel like a lot of people trying to psych themselves out to make themselves like, and it's like, look, it's dope.
We all got that first initial phase of loving it
that's
because
why I
we got
said
it
the
back.
honeymoon stage. Like, this
right.
is the honeymoon stage, but playing it, as soon as I turned it on and seeing there was no creative player, like my win left. Like,
yeah, I
went straight to that.
Right. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you right now. You talked me into getting that bundle.
No, I didn't. I did not.
You talked me into getting that bundle because you was like, yeah, because if you go ahead and get the bundle, you already paying $70 for these games, and then you pay this much for the bundle, and you tax come out, you getting that, and you getting it 3 days. Like, I really only pulled the trigger on it just to get it 3 days early. That's my only reason.
It is the truth, though. I mean, but what I'm saying is, I'm gonna say this because I felt played a little bit because I did not see any memo of them saying you couldn't create a player. Now, I know they said you couldn't. They said something about combinations. You can't create combo names. I know what I heard. You know what I'm saying? Right. You can't make like a Archie Manning or something. They're going to block that combination of a name.
Right.
They never said anything about, you can't create a player.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I still got to mess with the builder trend to create.
I set it up, but I didn't. I haven't messed with that, but this is like. Now that's the only thing. That's the only way to really, because I seen how it's set up. You create everybody on the computer. So what you do is you go to the team builder, you create your logo and all that, and then you got to edit in all the players.
That's how it was on the PS3 versions.
Oh, straight up?
Yeah, that's how it was. A whole lot of people, they created their teams that way.
Yeah, I'm probably just I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna finish my Eastern thing, and then once I'm done with that, I'm gonna create a school, probably Inkster school, and make everybody freshmen and play 4 years of that. See where it goes.
You can't have everybody be freshmen.
Bro, I'm putting everybody as freshmen. I'm playing 4 years. Everybody's a freshman, and when everybody leave, then you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm gonna do. Exactly what I'm gonna do.
You gotta at least do half and half upperclassmen, half underclassmen.
That's how my Eastern is. That thing all over the place. So I'm really trying to recruit. You ain't talking about that recruiting, how they be doing you in.
So yeah, I haven't really gotten past week 1 of my dynasty yet.
You'll see.
But yeah, so one thing I do know is this, man. When you are a smaller school and you trying to build up, in reality, them schools ain't getting those 5-star recruits like that. Not even the 4-star recruits like that is going to those smaller schools. Like what Dion did over at Jackson State, that was at least in this past 20, 30 years of college football, reality football. 5-star players wasn't going to no HBCU or small school like that.
That's due to he's a rare anomaly because you going there for him.
Right. And so now that he's in Colorado, now it's not a big deal anymore. But for anybody that's building a smaller school, if I was building, which is right now, I'm trying to build up a 1-star level school.
Mm-hmm.
Like I started my dynasty with USF, University of South Florida Bulls.
Mm-hmm.
They're a 1-star school. So I started with them. I'm not even looking for 5 stars. I'm not.
What's your highest 3?
Like those are the bulk of the players that I'm going after. And I got a couple of 4 stars and I'm like, okay, maybe I can probably swing him. Because South Florida it's not a bottom school, but it's the bottom of they not Power 5 neither. It's like one of the bottom schools of that second tier.
How often do they get NFL players drafted? How often do players go for NFL from there?
Oh, they got a number of players that went to the NFL from South Florida.
Okay.
They have a couple of running backs. Like right now, I think the main one that jumps out is Dearness Johnson, running back. He played with the Cleveland Browns. He was on Jacksonville last year. They had a couple of defensive backs. Mike Jenkins, he got drafted to the Dallas Cowboys. He played for them. He was the first round pick for them. Jason Pierre-Paul, the defensive lineman for the New York Giants, the one that messed up his fingers with the fireworks.
Yeah, I remember that.
He South Florida.
Okay.
So they got some players, they got some players that come out. So it's not strange for them. I think the last time that they was up there, like as far as like one of the top schools in their conference and scary schools to play, was when they had Willie Taggart as the head coach over there. When they had Willie Taggart as the head coach over there, he had them popping and whatnot, and they was a scary school to play. Especially if you was a top tier school and you ain't had your stuff together, because you could lose easy.
Yeah. I mean, I just really, even with the creating, my only issue, that's my problem with the game. That's why I said it was in the 7s. You could maybe get away with putting it at 8, maybe, but that's why I said maybe, depending on who you are. And I realistically, no matter how much I like the gameplay, it's just, you gutted it too much. You can't even save mid-game, like how you do in Madden. You know how you can turn Madden off, save mid-game?
You can do that in Road to Glory.
You can save mid-game in Road to Glory? They don't let you do that.
Well, when I say that, I mean like, if I'm in the middle of a Road to Glory game and I stop playing the game and I cut the game off essentially and put it in rest mode, but don't close the application.
You can do that. You can do it with all the games. I'm talking about, like, in Madden, you can literally save the game, turn it off, shut it down, and resume your franchise.
Pick up back where I
don't know why they took that out. So you can't do that.
Well, see, me personally, I'm not trying to like start a game that I can't finish anyway. So
I agree with you.
I've never really had that kind of.
I agree with you. So I definitely be doing. Well, I'll be at work, so I may play a quarter or something, save it. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like, you know what this is? What it feel like? Like when the new system come out, and then the first version of the game come out on that system, and they done took away stuff. That's what this feels like.
Oh yeah,
that's what this feels like.
I mean, this is the very first game in over a decade, so I wasn't expecting it to be packed with everything. I was a little bit pleasantly surprised that it was playable good, because I was sitting here looking at it like, Madden been like this for such a long time, man, and I would say when I found out it was just for the Series X and PS5, I'm like, okay, they probably just locked in specifically on gameplay to where they focus specifically on it. Because if you put that thing on a PS4 and Xbox One, you already know it's a problem. Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's going to be limited in some aspects. So.
Right. So, I mean, that's the way I feel about it. It's still a good game. I still do enjoy playing with random teams. Like, I do random matchups a lot.
What?
Right
randomize?
now?
Like,
Yeah, I'll just hit play now and do random teams and just to experiment with whatever they got going on.
And that.
It's pretty cool seeing each team's whatever different intro, if they have one like that in the game. So that's pretty cool. But outside of that, I'll just say this. To give a glass half full perspective on this, they built a foundation.
Oh, they built a great foundation. Absolutely.
They built a foundation, and now it's like, okay, now we need to go up from here. We don't go down. They should
go up from here.
We go up from here. Don't do like Madden and call yourself adding something, but then taking something away.
What you think they about to do when they come out again? You know what's going to be the new feature? Because I know the NIL. I don't know what type of deal they worked out.
The new feature is going to be
you can create a player. You can edit recruits. Dog, this has been in the game since, fam. Right. If I see that.
Don't call it new. Just say we bringing this back.
You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like, because this is a standard feature.
Right.
It's standard.
Right.
And for that to be removed, I almost want to refund for a second. I was really like, I'm about to just refund this joint, you know what I'm saying? And then,
Yeah, I had
that was in my head for a second, like right there. I'm like,
I had a heavy punch in my gut when I found out that I couldn't create a player.
Yeah, that message, you like, oh man, you sound somber when I told you that. You're like, man.
I had a heavy punch in my gut, man, because I had plans already in my head. I was already thinking about this. But you know what though? Like it's all good. It's not gonna stop me from making it. I'm just dealing with it. I mean, like, I ain't gonna front. I literally contemplated being like, you know what? I'm just gonna go back to playing college on the PS3 because I was almost there.
This made me want to go play it.
That's how much of a punch of the gut that was for me.
This made me want to go play it. I know that. Like, man, that's because I mean, nah, man. Like, nah. There's no excuse for that. So I'm sorry. You can't tell me anything. You can't tell me one good reason. I know what. Nah. So that
because there's a way around every single reason that you can give me.
That you can't. There's no.
Why do you allow me to do a Road to Glory player, but not allow me to create a player? Like, it makes no sense.
And then the transferring thing don't make any sense. So it's like, so you can transfer Road to Glory, but I can't transfer draft class.
Right.
Please tell me how this makes, because they plan on the same engine. Madden looks like the college.
I mean, that's got to be that NIL stuff kicking into play, because they probably like, oh, I better not see my name in the Madden game or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think I forgot the name. I don't think it was Ryan Moody. I think it was somebody else. I think it was Soft Drink TV or something about this. One of them. But they were saying, I think the reason why they even didn't put that in is because the target on the college back, because that game got a big old target. They watching it with a Hawkeye. So that's why I'm not tripping too much. I am, but I'm not. It's like,
this is why I said a long time ago, they could have been creating college games. Just don't put people in there, the real people in there. Just have random rosters going on around there. You can make this up.
Do you agree that no one cares about playing with the real players?
Don't nobody care about that, because they only like, because the real players are only going to last four seasons maximum.
Yeah, max.
If you do a dynasty, 4 seasons maximum, they only going to last. The good ones, they going to be gone.
3 years or
right
2.
Right now, you got seniors and juniors in college football on this game that's going to be in the next draft class. Like Shedeur Sanders on Colorado.
Yeah. What's he, a senior?
I
feel like he's been in college forever.
He's a senior.
Oh, okay.
He's a senior.
Yeah.
He could have came out the draft this draft.
Yeah, I remember. I seen that conversation with him.
He's definitely going after this year. And I'm like, some of these dudes is only going to last just this one season. And you going through all this trouble to accommodate them? Screw them. Forget them.
Listen, I was thinking in my head, I'm like, man, they should just deal like how College Hoops 2K6 did it. They had to deal with the coaches. You had the real coaches in there. They didn't have I wouldn't mind the real coaches, no real players. I'm cool with that.
Those are the only ones that kind of stay. I don't know. I guess the only thing about that is coaches get fired a lot.
Yeah, but still, even so, being like the likenesses of the coaches, they be having multi-year contracts. It don't really matter. And it's like,
right. I mean, you could have randomized everybody for all I
know. I mean, people create. It's a creating pool. That's what I understand.
This is where I felt like 2K, they fell asleep at the wheel with this.
Oh yeah, they could. Yeah,
they could have been had some sort of a football game coming out with made up college and pro or just pro. Bro, they could have had made up everything.
I never even thought about that. They could have just went at the NCAA like, look here, man. Why don't you let us get that? No, think about it. If 2K is in depth as they is,
right,
took the college,
right. If they took anything, I mean, you see what they did to NBA Live.
Who, 2K? Or what
Yeah.
EA did? Well, EA did that to themselves, to be honest. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
But
technically, I mean, if it wasn't for the heavy ascension of 2K, nobody would have paid as much attention to the constant drought of NBA Live. It would have been just like Madden. We would have been buying it just because it's the only thing we got.
yeah, I mean, with consistency, EA shot themselves in the foot too much. Like 2K was just doing their thing.
And they just constantly going
EA
up.
just doing, I don't know, they just would not, because there's going to be years you better, years they better. There's going to be like that. You know what I'm saying? They both could exist in the same world. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But if 2K would have, I never thought about that. If 2K would have went over to the college, like, look, let me get that.
But the thing that got me scratching my head is that they kind of already did it when they came out with the All-Pro 2K8.
Well, what they messed up was they did that. Well, I don't think they messed up, but they did it with the legend guys, right? So they probably expected to keep that up, to keep having the contract with them.
Listen, look, trust me. The way people be complaining about Madden, you could have just came out with a generic pro football. You don't even put NFL on it. Make up something else.
Right? They could have been did that, but I think they worried about this. They worried about, because people are casuals. When they want to play with the Cowboys, they want to play.
Well, you know what?
Whoever.
The way to fix that issue, have it with the ability for people to make their own rosters online.
Well, I mean, that's kind of course. I mean, they should definitely do that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like,
right.
I mean, there was a game called Backbreaker. I don't even know.
Yeah, I remember Backbreaker. That
game was hard in the mud. And there was a dude made a whole NFL roster with that. There was somebody create your own team, and he had all the logos and everything on the PS3.
The way the tackling and the contact worked in that game, that junk was like,
that game was hard in the mud. It looked cold too. I wouldn't mind if Backbreaker came back. If Backbreaker came back,
well, those kind of smaller games, I'm pretty sure any kind of success they get, the top dogs is going to be offering them a job.
That Backbreaker was clean, dog.
Like 2K or EA, they're going to be like, look, we see what you did right here. because that's the name of the game. They want to take out the competition.
2K did that with modders. But hold on. What's your review number on college before we even fade off that? What's your actual review 1 through 10?
7.5.
That makes sense. So you got anything else to say about it?
I'm gonna keep playing it, and I mean, right now you on the clock because Madden about to come out, and I'm gonna give that some attention depending on how that works.
College, that's gonna be kind of.
Well, if it technically is supposed to be as different as they made it sound. How college plays fast and how pros that they was really advertising that, like a whole bunch of the people that was like had that beta or whatnot, how college played fast. So there should be a distinct difference to it. So we'll see. But because you left me starving for other things, you left the door open. You left the door open because, like, I can't create a player with y'all, but I can with Madden.
That's crazy, dog. That's just crazy. I can
with
hearing
Madden.
You say that just makes me mad, actually. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like that just the note.
Yeah. You don't transfer draft classes.
That makes no sense.
Madden, there's people in that Madden community that make the draft classes that I can
They cold.
You know, and so
those draft classes, I would say, is better than 2K because guess what? You don't got to worry so much about likenesses.
Right. So it's like, like you left meat on the bone here.
Wait a second. For them to say that, right? Hold on. It makes no sense. It's a contradiction because you got people that make whole draft classes and with names and all.
Right.
there is no stopping. What my whole point is, you can't stop it.
Well, there's
try to
got to be
stop it.
some legal technicalities in this that we don't know.
Yeah.
Because the whole letter of the law, you know how much of a fine tooth they are with every word. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, it's just one of those things where it's like there's one of them fine tooth comb words that slide up in there that takes that from out the being the ability of doing it. So, or maybe they just, I don't know. Maybe they just was so ready to just give us anything.
You know, they delayed it for a year, so I mean.
Right. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't tell you. I have no idea. I don't know. But yeah, that's my college.
7.5 from Josh, which is fair. I said like a 7.8 or something. Yeah. I can't. It's hard for me to go past that to an 8. I don't feel comfortable doing that because
they don't deserve that.
I don't feel comfortable. The gameplay is cold. I'm not gonna lie. Y'all tripping with the line, but
if the offensive line wasn't as bad as it is,
the gameplay cold.
And that whole like spin thing was not a thing.
The gameplay is good, but I feel like it just feels like, yeah, you're right. It's like an emptiness. It's like, dog, you
left some meat on the bone, man. you definitely left some meat on the bone. Like I mean, like I appreciate you feeding me. You know what I'm saying? But like, you know, there's something missing here. You making me want to go through Popeyes again. You know,
Facts.
That's what it's like. Like you've been seeing the constant decline of Popeyes and how the service always been bad and whatnot, and how like the quality of the food just constantly keeps going down, but yet there's other options available, but people still go to Popeyes just because they ain't got their stuff together.
Exactly.
That's the reason why we still gonna play Madden still.
I'm gonna ask you this before we even transition. Do you think that because NFL said that 2K couldn't make NFL sim games?
That's why I said 2K.
Do you think they should have hopped in and just got the NCAA or the college football?
I don't know, because they in bed together, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Because EA is EA. I don't know.
About the problem they had, it seemed like if 2K would have went up in there, they would have gladly gave it to 2K, the problems that EA had with them.
I mean, look, my thing is, if you 2K, you could have been... Technically, you could have just gave us what you gave us with 2K5 and 2K8, and you could have just updated them graphics, and that would have put all kind of pressure on EA.
It did, obviously, because they bought them. You know what I'm saying? Like, hold on, what is this?
People still refer back to that.
No, it's one of the coldest football games ever, if not the.
So that's my thing. NFL 2K5. The most realistic football game I've ever played. 2K8 is pretty much up there with it. It's just that I don't play it as much just because
that was bare bones too, though. They only had one single season, right?
Right. Yeah, like you can't really do a lot with it. But the gameplay on that joint.
It was like an updated version of 2K5.
Yeah, that was some of the most realistic, like everything mattered, and you felt the presence of the superstars whether they was on your team or not.
Yeah,
that
had Lawrence Taylor, didn't it? Huh? No Lawrence Taylor in that?
Yeah, all the old school legends.
They had OJ Simpson up in there too.
OJ Simpson, Barry.
Yeah.
Walter Payton. They had Dan Marino up in there. Joe Namath was up in there. I mean, a whole bunch. Like, all them dudes was in there.
So let me ask you this, Josh, before we transition over to we is in the 2K zone. So if they say, we all pro football 2K26 dropping,
I'm copping it.
With all the legends in it, with a dynasty mode and everything.
I'm copping it.
Create a team.
There's no need for me to even like there's no need for me to even play around with this. I'm copping that. That's, like I said, that's some of the best gameplay from an actual football perspective that anybody can experience.
I agree with you. I love that game, honestly. You know what I'm saying? So the NBA 2K25 trailer dropped today.
Yes, the gameplay trailer.
You sent it to me. I didn't even know it dropped. There was no warning. You sent it, so salute on that. Cause I'm like, hold on, it dropped. I seen it. Now, this is my thing. The game look all right. It don't look bad, actually. You know what I'm saying? I don't expect them to announce any new modes. I mean, because 2K is a full-fledged game already. I mean, what modes are you going to add? So all I expect is certain tweaks and minor additions. My thing about this game is it say 9,000 new animations.
Yeah,
so
it did say that.
Pro play, you know, obviously is the thing here. You know what I'm saying? The good thing is they got the next gen version on the PC, which I'm definitely happy for. So I got that on the handheld. That means I'm playing the good one while we on the boat. You know what I'm saying? That's the good thing. I'm very happy about that. But my question with these animations is this going to go to the older players? Because
just prepare yourself.
I don't worry. I listen. I know. I mean, that's my main issue because you got my eras, right? But when you go and play in the eras, it don't feel like it don't. You can't even properly play the old school versus the new school correct because the old school tendencies, none of their stuff is accurate for the most part. None of them. You know what I'm saying?
Except remember that stuff about that dunk package. Wasn't that the Sean Kemp?
Yeah, we had to change. You had a Sean Kemp dunk package, but it wasn't assigned to Sean Kemp.
Right.
That don't even make sense. So it's like, my thing is, I'm not worried about the scans of the old school guys. I'm worried about, they said the pro play. I don't know if it's necessary. They said they take it from real life games. So with this pro play, are you taking this pro play and are you implementing this in the old school games from the 80s and the 90s and assigning it to these new to the older guys? Because
I don't know.
When you play with Allen Iverson, he don't feel like Allen Iverson. When you play with Tracy McGrady, he don't feel like Tracy McGrady. They updated Carmelo Anthony's jump shot finally. He had a bad jump shot for years. They actually put his real shot in there last year on the next gen version, not the past gen. So like I said to you before, when I play with Scottie Pippen, is he gonna feel like Scottie? Know what I'm saying? Is he gonna move like Scottie? Because I do give 2K credit for, if you cut on the game and play it with the new guys, they look like they move and play like the real counterparts. You look at LeBron and them side by side, it looked like Brian. He plays like Brian, all that. You know what I'm saying? Especially up there in difficulty. It's the same thing for the most part. I mean, it's a video game, but it looks. But when you play with them old dudes, nah, there's nothing to like. You know what I'm saying? They don't even look. That's where I wanted, because 9,000 animations, is this assigned to the old people? I doubt it is. I hope it is, but I know it won't be probably.
I would assume that they got to put something on them just because that's a lot of animations to add to it.
They said 9,000, bro.
But I will say this. I'm with you with the past era stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I like those players better.
Yeah.
And I'm the type of dude that I will make a custom roster and I will throw players from the past in with the players of current.
Yeah.
And if I see one of these superstars, so-called, of today getting busy on the superstars that we know from the past, and they don't even battle back right, I get frustrated.
I mean, I already know that's probably it. That's my big gripe. I'm not worried about nothing else. I know what to expect with 2K. I have no hype. I know what I'm getting. I know what to expect. I know what I'm doing with it already. My thing is, my issue with that game is I like the My NBA eras because I always start in 2002. That's like one of my favorite eras. So I usually start over in that era. You know what I'm saying? But when I play with those guys, I'm like, man, I try to play with Jermaine O'Neal in them. Don't feel like Jermaine O'Neal. Don't feel nothing. He don't got his jump shot. He don't got his look right. You know what I'm saying? The post moves, none of that. The speed, none of this stuff feels right. It's like, dog, this don't feel like Jermaine O'Neal.
No, not at all.
I know what Jermaine O'Neal feel like. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
Not
I would love to see real life Jermaine O'Neal animations in there. You know, his high release jump shot, his spin move, his all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? His signature dunks. 9,000 animations. Please tell me you implement this to the old school players.
Right. I mean, I guess a lot of that is just their focus mainly is on my player, I feel. Because that's their biggest money maker.
Yeah,
people is already prepping to spend hundreds of dollars.
Well, you got pro leagues based around that.
Right. Which is crazy. I mean, but look, if that's that important to you, separate the two. Create a my player game and then create NBA 2K.
I already said, look, you know what's crazy? They already do that. When I said, I'm like, look, on the mobile side of things, they got a whole my player. They got a 2K arcade game, right? Which is pretty much NBA 2K season mode and all that. You got that. Then you got a my player portion that's separate. You know what I'm saying? They did all that, so you can do that for the console. Like you could break the game up, honestly. You know what I'm saying?
They kind of need to
because
that I mean, look,
it's two different audiences that play it.
Obviously, this is more your lane than mine because honestly, I mean, to be honest with you, I haven't completed not one season of whatever the franchise mode is called for 2K. I haven't completed not one season of that by myself.
Yeah. I mean, I just like to.
I have not. Like, I try to commit to it and be like, yeah, I'm a create a dynasty and I'm gonna play with it and I'm gonna commit to it. But it always ends up leaving me feeling like something ain't right about this or something something is not there for me to stick to it, which is like my main thing has been not everybody can play defense. Matter of fact, majority of this league can play defense.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so why is he locking me down?
It's the difference. I mean, it's at the end of the day, once we start getting into the aspect of video games, right? You play on a higher difficulty, things don't make sense. Okay. That's just what it is. And for me, I get irritated when things don't make sense. Like when you play certain games, like, okay, you beat this game, now you unlocked hard mode. So when you go into the stage now, you got all type of stuff happening that's just not making sense to where it's made for you not to be able to, you know what I mean? Right. So in a sense, that's kind of how 2K do it sometimes with the computer. It's like, it just don't make sense because you will have somebody putting the clamps on you. It's like, hold on, dog.
Yeah, like this dude don't even play.
This don't even make no sense. Or somebody just getting off. And I get it as far as real life. Sometimes somebody have a good day. I remember.
But it shouldn't be no regular basis thing.
There's a team that used to always bother me in 2K11. I ain't gonna never forget. I always had issues with the Blazers. No matter what, the Blazers. I had a long day with the Blazers, whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? And no matter what, I don't care. They just give me a hard time during the season. You know what I'm saying? So I get it that, and then some role players and got off on me before. I was hot. I'm like, hold on, who is this? You know what I mean? Because I played the game so much, you can kind of tell when they got it programmed for you to lose, dog. I'm dead serious. You can kind of feel when it's like a rubber band AI going on. So if you're playing the season game, the first 3 minutes of the game, I could tell like, oh, this about to be a long game here. Because you missing open layups, you missing certain shots, and for whatever reason, they getting off.
That.
You know what I'm saying? Because it happened with the Hornets one time. I'm playing the Hornets. They ain't cold like that. None of these dudes like that. You know what I'm saying? For whatever reason, I'm missing. For whatever, my guys just feel like they off. The whole team feel off, and I'm wide open. Just boom, boom. Yet they coming up, and I can just tell how the offense is running. They backdoor screening, ball moving mad quick, fast, everything on that. I'm like, hold on, man, what's going on? Why is this happening with the Hornets? You know what I'm saying? Why? And even if I go up by like 5, they automatically just come back. No matter what. I'm like, this game is about to go left. And then you could tell within the last 2 minutes, when they make everything, no matter what, and ones and all, and you just struggling to make a layup, it's like you're going to lose this game. We're going to make sure you lose. You know what I'm saying?
For real.
The rubber man AI bothers me. So, I mean, you know, and that happens tenfold on Hall of Fame mode against a computer.
Yeah. Yeah. What was the whole purpose of that layup meter when they put that in? Like
they claimed it was to make it more realistic. And I guess in a sense, when you play basketball, you have to release the layup at a certain point.
You know, we're talking about pro basketball players here. So I could see if we were talking about high school or even collegiate players. We're talking about pro basketball players here. Everybody in this league can make a layup.
Yes.
Everybody
Absolutely.
in this league can make a layup.
Yes.
If everybody in this league can't make a layup, the NBA is not the toughest league in the world.
The way you feel about that O-line is how I feel about that in-paint play, dog. Down low, missing all them layups.
Yeah.
Because they miss a whole lot of layups down there, dog. I'm like, some of the most frustrating stuff in the world when it comes to those missed layups because it just doesn't make sense.
Right.
You know what I mean? So with 2K, I have no expectations. I'm going to buy 2K regardless. Like you sent that meme to me. I'm going to buy it regardless. No shame in my game. I'm copping it. I'm copping it. Hands down. I have no questions. I don't even need to see a trailer. I'm buying the game. You know what I'm saying? All I care about at this point is y'all making sure them old school players is correct because, you know,
you might as well just put that to bed and just be pleasantly surprised.
Look,
if ever and whenever they do that, you might as well just put that to bed and just be pleasantly surprised whenever it comes.
Because if you look at a guy like Steph, play just like Steph. You look at T-Mac, it's like, man, like I would love to see all T-Mac's moves. He have unique moves. I would love to see T-Mac's moves. And T-Mac body size ain't even right in 2K, to be honest with you. If you look at like none of that, it's like all that's like you if you set those the model side by side, you can tell the older guys they
don't care. Like they don't care enough about them. They care enough to put them in the game, but not enough to put their personality in the game.
Yeah, I would love, man. That's the only thing really missing for me personally because, you know, as far as the hype train, only game I was hyped for is college, and
that hype died quick.
It was like, dang, you know what I'm saying? Like I haven't felt that hype for a game since I was like a kid. Like I'm like,
I was sitting here like, man, I spent 150.
Man, look.
I was like, this dude Matt done talked about spending 150 but it is.
Nah, I didn't talk you into doing that, man. Like, you know, I'm just telling you what you got the bundle. Like, you know, they sold it together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they had to do something.
But
the day 2K makes a football game, man, the world gonna change.
Well, I mean, I don't see why they won't. I mean, they dipped their toe in the water a little bit. I can't even say that with the mobile thing. I don't know what they was doing with that. They shadow released it too. They didn't even tell you it was out. They just put it out. They didn't even warn you or nothing because they knew. I played a little bit of that. I'm like, this right here. I mean,
well, you know,
but I keep seeing little things saying they still working on the actual NFL game. It's just not. It's obviously not pro, but you know what I also think happened because that wild card football, right? Okay. Now, mind you, that's Saber Interactive. The 2K NBA Playgrounds, NBA 2K Playgrounds, the second one, because 2K ended up buying them or end up giving them a publishing deal. I almost feel like that wild card was supposed to be the 2K arcade game they was talking about. They just didn't put their name on it. So like, no, we gonna wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? Because they the same. It's the same company, and it's a 7-on-7. It's the exact same game they was talking about releasing. Oh, a 7-on-7 football game or whatever the case is. Blah 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 blah. And then this wild card thing came out. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that was supposed to be 2K's thing, and they just kind of changed their mind at the last minute. Then not put their name on it, but I just think they need to just make a sim game and not mess with the arcade stuff. Just make a sim game.
Create something. Because right now, just to give us something different would be good. Like,
I give the indie developers credit that's trying. I do. You got a lot of guys out here trying to make football games, and some of them is pretty decent. Like,
if Maximum keep on going the route that they're going.
Now, Maximum, I'm going to tell you about Maximum. Maximum been around for a long time, actually.
Right. So, they've been around for, what was this? They first release came out in 2018, 2019.
Yeah, they've been around. So, that newer game they got, it's pretty solid. I played it. It's pretty solid now, and it looked pretty good too. For whatever it was giving me Any Given Sunday vibes. You know what I'm saying? But that game was pretty solid. I just it's up to the people really, because the developers, I'm quite sure they'd be on board with doing this, but they know it won't sell because it don't have an NFL license on it. The NFL.
Well, see, the thing is, you can't create nothing like that and be like, yeah, $70. Like, 2K, just take a lesson from your own playbook that you had in the past. The best game that you ever created, that people put on the upper echelon of any video game ever, that was the game that was $20.
Yep.
when everything was $40.
Yep.
That game was $20. Test the waters. You make enough money. All the microtransactions that you got in NBA.
That's the wild part, dog. It's like they making Grand Theft Auto money with that. I'm be honest. They making GTA money with that. So it's like, yo,
they stopped getting my money for that a long time ago.
I don't even do.
Now
I can honestly tell you. Let me see. Have I paid for VC, man?
I will admit, I will admit, my best days of 2K, when I had the most fun with it, was when I was involved in that, because it was me, my partners in Florida, teamed up with some of my partners that I got over in California, and we had our creative players and we had our own team, and we would just come out and play, and it was kind of like refreshing, and it was really fun because you felt like you was really a part of a team.
Well, that's what these guys do now.
Right.
So it's just, when it comes to stuff like that, everybody got to be on the same accord and time and all that.
Right.
You know what
See,
I'm
because
saying?
the way they started it, it didn't start like that. Like, it started as just being in the park, and then you can go to like the rec center, and you would just like, you know, you wouldn't necessarily be an organized team, but you can have your 5 dudes or whatever that you'd be like, hey, yo, let's go over here, let's go over here, let's go over here, let's do this.
Look, that junk, that I haven't on 2K, I haven't had that experience because I don't play with enough cats for that, really. You know what I'm saying? I had that on live though.
But it was kind of like that on the PS3 versions of 2K that I can remember, when you can create the player and go through his, like, that career.
You talking about you talking about when my player first came out, where you got an interview with the coach and all that stuff.
Some stuff like that, yeah.
Like conferences and everything.
It is cool. My biggest gripe about that, once again, was they start you off really low.
Oh yeah, you start. 2K10 was the worst though, bro.
you start off at like 50, 60 something overall.
10 was the worst.
Like,
Okay?
how you supposed to get down? This is where NBA Live, what was it, 19 with that one mode?
Live 19 had the best. I tell people that's the best, hands down.
Right.
To me, it started in 16. From 16 to 18 and 19, that mode single player was the best mode single player to me. It felt like actual basketball out there. The street element felt different from the pro element. Once you go, you have to play it different. Because I was playing Live 19 the other day. You play the league mode and you play the street mode. Feels completely different. You really feel like you're playing on the street out there. The environment is cold. Everything. Look, right. I don't know why they stopped. I'm like, what are y'all doing? If they would have just kept going, they would be right there. They
wanted to explode,
bruh,
the way 2K did.
The one mode would be right up there because people were starting to warm up to it. That Live 19, they was warming up to it. So if you just been consistent and kept
your creative player stuff, bro, man.
Look,
you could scan your face and
it looked real.
You look like I had scanned my face and I was like,
yeah.
I was impressed because I wasn't expecting that.
I mean, look, I don't know why Live, and the thing is, Tiburon or whatever it's called, Madden, that side, they deal with that. Now I don't know if they switched it over again, but it's like, just stay consistent. You know what I'm saying? Just know you're gonna take the hit. You're not gonna sell as much. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta invest in yourself.
Exactly. If you just promote it, because you gotta think about all the promo 2K have. They got their actual summer league named after 2K. You know what I'm saying? So they in there for real with the NBA. They in it. You know what I mean? But Live, y'all can NBA all about that money.
Yeah.
If you come in them,
they showed us that with the Inside the NBA stuff.
Yeah. Literally. So you come in them with the dough, they will promote the Live, bro. They all about that cheese. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know. I just think that Live could be up there. They both can exist. It don't have to just be one. They both can exist. But I'm not that impressed. I have no feelings. I just care about what the old school gonna look like. I know what the game gonna look like. I understand how it's gonna play. I know I'm gonna play a whole season, multiple seasons. I know I'm gonna create draft prospects. I'm gonna do all of that. So I'm not gonna come on here and act like I'm not gonna buy it. I know I'm gonna buy it. I know what to expect. I'm not about to be super hyped. I just know already. Now I see the comment about I seen Bronny in that trailer throwing the ball to Brian, bro.
You know they had to do that.
Did they have to? That means he gonna get clocked. He getting clocked. If you advertising this brother in the trailer,
well, look, I'm gonna tell you like this: the Lakers wasn't able to re-sign or to sign anybody in the offseason. They actually lost players. So every player that they lose, that's clock open up for him potentially being able to see the floor. And that's for every player that they lose. Every player that they lose, and then the fact that you didn't sign nobody, so you just working with what you got. So now it's not just every player that they lose, it's every player that has an injury that keeps him out for this game.
You think the Lakers are going to the playoffs before we hit this USA thing? I'm going to say this. 2K, I have no expectations. I just hope that some of these 9,000 animations, or a lot of them, are just getting distributed to the old school players. Now,
it depends on what the 9,000 animations are, because you can pretty much guarantee that not one of them 9,000 animations is going to be post moves.
Look, man, I'm just trying to keep hope alive.
Look, just look at it with the potential of they not going to give me jack nothing, and then just be happy whenever they give you what they give you. That's ultimately the way to go about it, man.
To be real, I don't have the time on my hands to go through each player and fix their tendencies, dog. That's a lot.
I don't.
I cannot do that. You know what I'm saying? I salute to the guys.
That's why I
do
be
that.
asking you, have they created
y'all.
that roster yet?
Listen, I appreciate y'all that do that, who fix that. I think it's a team of dudes that do it, that fix the make the anime. But if you notice, they took out some of the animations as far as shots, because remember, you could combine shots. You had jump shot release 1 through this, then the third.
I need the regular jump shots to come back.
Now I saw pro players.
I need shot 1 through 100 and whatever that you had.
I don't know why they took that out. At least
1 through.
Why would you do that? Now that's a problem I have right there, because you could really find a jump shot that you want, and you could really kind of blend something to, okay, T-Mac stuff ain't right. Let me go ahead and tweak this to where it's this. Now you just got the names. No, I want the 138 jump shots you had before, right, and the 100 and whatever or however many set shots you had before, and then I want to be able to blend that. I don't care the stuff.
With the base. I mean, that was the you talking about creating the player, that's in depth right there.
And they stopped that recently, because that was all the way up to
before past year's
they
game.
Just took that out. So I don't know.
They just took that out. I don't get it either.
That. But whatever, I have no expectations. But as far as I asked you about you think LA going to the playoffs?
Technically, I still feel like they have a potential lower end playoff roster. Mm-hmm. Because when I think of the players that they lost, they wasn't using them anyway. They wasn't using Dinwiddie. They still got the main two, Anthony Davis and LeBron James. Even though LeBron James is 40, we know LeBron at this current state in his career, 40-year-old LeBron is still better than the majority of the 20-year-olds that's in this league.
Yeah.
Then, you know, they got some solid role players that just missed time, like Vanderbilt, the hustle guy. Like they need him there. They got Gabe Vincent, the knockdown shooter, who was just starting to get playing time in the playoff because he missed the whole time. He's there. Mm. We both are fans of Connect.
Yes, absolutely.
So they got him there. Mm-hmm. They got Rui Hachimura there. We know he got potential. Cam Reddish, we know if he can stay healthy, he can contribute something to it. So I have no reason to feel like this is not a playoff roster. Mm-hmm. I just don't know if they will be a top playoff roster, because right now, what the Thunder and what the Timberwolves got going on in Dallas, because they just keep adding to what they did. I don't know if they're going to be a top 4 seed. They're going to be a bottom 4 seed, probably a play-in team. Mm-hmm. But to say that they don't make the playoffs, a lot of things have to go right for teams that wasn't there last year. Because the Lakers had this roster for the past couple of years, and they've been in the playoffs. They've been in the same spot in the playoffs, like that 7 or 8 spot. But technically, if we didn't have this playoff tournament, the Lakers would still be a playoff team. If they didn't have that play-in tournament where 9 through 10 had a chance, 9 seeds, 9 and 10 had a chance, the Lakers would still be playoff teams.
Well, I think we both agree that the play-in is stupid. Personally.
It's stupid. It's really. This is a reach.
It's almost like giving folks participation trophies.
Whatever the case.
I like 1 through 8 because back in the day,
be enough.
Battling for that 8th spot got tense. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, man,
that's what I'm saying. Like, how is 82 games not enough?
I mean,
the only league that can make an argument for their season not being long enough is the NFL.
Really? Could they?
That's the only league that can make an argument for it. Because of the wear and tear that gets put on every player's body from a week in to week out basis, and it's more physical. players are really more susceptible to getting hurt that will cost them time.
I almost feel like 17 too long.
But that's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Like they already stretching it with them.
Mm-hmm.
But if anybody could have a gripe about maybe if we had a couple more games, this team could have this. It's the NFL. 82 games?
Yeah, 82 is a lot. But
82 games.
That's why I don't understand. But Adam Silver, to me, man, I just, it's one of the things to where with Adam Silver, I think his honeymoon stage is ended.
Oh, yeah, his honeymoon stage been ended.
Because folks is like, yo, dog. Because now people start to say, well, if David Stern was here, and I agree, we had a better brand of basketball when David Stern was around. Whether folks like his ways or not, and I get it, you had a better brand of basketball out there where David Stern was the commissioner. Point blank, period, is evidence and it shows. You know what I'm saying? Flat out. You know what I mean? Like, can't nobody even argue that.
Right. I mean, that was the league that had superstar caliber, like an abundance of superstar caliber players at every position.
And on top of that, yeah, they was getting paid, but it wasn't like this. He had that situation where you gotta, to get this, you gotta be cold like that and show that you cold like that. Now, some may have slipped through the cracks because they showed a year of them being cold and then they just dropped, but then they never got that contract again. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's probably the biggest hurt that they took, which is we're going to cover that in another segment because we already got these things on our list of things to talk about. So
but let's talk about this USA thing because I know you're supposed to get to this. USA. I'm not gonna worry about because I guess the real game started now because I never really understood the setup of the 5-on-5 Olympic Games, but I guess the games, Group C, I guess USA in Group C or whatever. But the first game, because they had these other games, these qualifiers or something. The first ones back here against Canada, and then Australia and Serbia, and then South Sudan when they only won by one, and then Germany. So now we over here. Let me look at this. Yeah, so this is the showcase. So
the actual games that count, they've only played 2. Right.
So the showcase was these. That's what they call them. So now the 5-on-5 Olympic Games against Serbia, they beat them 110-84.
Pretty easy.
You know what I mean?
Thankfully, I will say that. Thankfully, Kevin Durant popped off the way he did.
He played against Serbia? Yeah, I thought he only played against South Sudan. They was talking about that.
No.
He was cooking.
He played against Serbia. He went perfect in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
He had 14 points in the first half, I think.
Yeah.
And he went perfect from the field. Like he didn't miss at all.
Yeah.
And like when he got his clock because he was on a minutes restriction.
Mm-hmm.
When he got his clock, they went from being tied to being like up 10.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm looking. He only missed one field goal
throughout the whole game.
Mm-hmm. He only missed one.
But he was perfect in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
He was perfect in the first. It was him, a consistent LeBron James that I think got that. Like Booker made a couple of shots from what I seen in the highlights. He had made a couple of shots that kept the game from getting in a wacky state.
Mm-hmm.
But it was mainly Kevin Durant to me that had impacted that game.
Now, the main reason, because listen, at the end of the day, USA should go undefeated.
Yeah.
There's no reason why they shouldn't go undefeated.
So. I think so.
Y'all should win all these games, right, with relative ease. And that's because, at the end of the day, we supposed to have the best players in the world, period.
Supposedly.
Point blank, period. I mean, basketball is supposed to be a USA dominated game. You know what I'm saying? That's that particular sport should be us. And if we have and if there was like and American football too, that too, you know what I'm saying? That should be dominated by us. Those two.
Already, like
you know
whatever that clip was that came out.
Talking about with Japan or whatever.
Yeah, we already know what that is. Like when you got certain people playing certain positions that's not even in their territory.
No, you just said because it's true. And listen, this the point, and this flat out because they talk about it in boxing. It's not even being racist. It's just what it is.
Listen, look.
What's in MLB? You got a bunch of Dominicans in the MLB, right? And they run the game.
Right.
If you want cold baseball players, you go to the DR to scout them. You know what I'm saying? Right. You can find some around here, but the most hungriest, you go to the DR.
Right.
It's nothing racist. It's just what it is.
Right.
When it comes to basketball, if you want the best basketball players, you want to go to the urban neighborhoods in the U.S. to find those guys. You know what I'm saying? It's just that simple.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
when it comes to skill-based positions where it's like the athletic ability determines a lot, it's not a lot of white folks that's like that.
I mean, it's what it is. I mean, it's not
a lot of white.
Not.
And that was one of the things that I noticed. Not to go back to college football 25,
good.
But like with college football video game recruiting as a whole, they be having like some out cold like white cornerbacks and white wide receivers, which is look, we have some white wide receivers that are cold. Cooper Kupp, you know what I'm saying? Cooper Kupp had one of the best seasons ever. We've had some in the past, Jordy Nelson. We had Wes Welker. We've had Colt. Like they come, but they don't come.
Sound like a handful.
As often as you make it happen in the video game.
Well, yeah.
And so that's one of the things where it's like, okay, if you really want to make this realistic and you pay attention to what goes on in reality, those kind of things matter.
It's not like it's nothing racist about it. It's just what it is.
Right.
It's just like hockey is dominated by white people, dog. It's what it is. No, it's a Canadian dominated sport, man. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I don't know. At the end of the day, us over here in the U.S. should dominate other countries in basketball. It just, it's what it is. Now, my problem is the coaching, Steve Kerr, and I think it's showing that he's not that great of a coach in real life. And a lot of players be co-signing that too. They don't feel like Steve Kerr is all that as a coach. A lot of players say that. A whole lot of players say that. Do you agree with this?
100%, 1,000%. Like, I don't think Steve Kerr has done anything significant. When you have Steph in his prime, Klay Thompson in his prime, who was already proven players before you got there, and then you add to that a Kevin Durant. If you win 2 championships with that, is that really impressive? Or was that expected?
I mean, it sounded to be expected to me.
I used to feel that way about Eric Spoelstra. Back on the Heat when LeBron went there.
Oh, yeah. Well, at that time,
I used to feel that way.
At that time, to be fair, that was a fair assessment at the time.
I used to feel that way because I used to always say, how hard is it to say LeBron go in? How hard is it to say Wade go in? How hard is it to say Bosh go in? You know?
It does. Like, I'm going to say this. It does take a special... You got to be able to manage all them egos too at the same time.
To a degree,
That's
yes.
not that easy either.
Right. But what I'm saying is the level of difficulty.
I agree.
Like, is that more impressive than what Mark Jackson did when he built them up?
No, it's not, because Mark Jackson, he had the eye for them. Because if it wasn't for Mark Jackson, they probably wouldn't have seen the light of day like that.
Right.
To be completely honest, you know what I'm saying? So
right.
I mean, it's a common theme with some of these coaches. You have somebody come in and build them up. They then found them and like, oh, you got us as far as we need. So they did all the building. They went through all the rough stuff. He went through all the development. Okay, this, that. Now you bring somebody in to do. It's kind of like, no, I can't say it was a Stan Van Gundy thing with Pat Riley. Was it? Well, he didn't build them, but at the end of the day, Pat Riley came in at the last minute to coach them. You know what I'm saying? And took this championship.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. Steve Kerr, because I've seen like Spoelstra. He took that Heat team to the finals twice. Did they win? No, but they undersized, don't got the talent all like that, but yet they got to the finals twice.
And this is under-talented.
That's what I'm saying.
This is a team full of undrafted. Like, we already know that he cold. Now it's like, if you give him any players, we like...
You know what I'm saying? Like,
you better watch out for the Heat.
You got Bam
Adebayo. He got some toys to play with.
You got a small forward playing at center and all that. Like, he really out here coaching this behind off. Like, and seriously, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you know what?
He might be the best coach in the league, man. Like, if you want to be honest, Spo.
Right now, it's like him or Popovich. Pick one. It's just that right now, because Pop, he still gets my respect because he's been doing this to a degree. Now, maybe now he's just older. And
is he not as strict as he used to be? You think he lightened up?
Well, I think the league doesn't allow old school coaching to take place anymore.
Let me ask you a question with Pop. How much winning did he do outside Tim Duncan?
Well, look at that Aldridge and Aldridge and Kawhi Leonard team. If it wasn't for Zaza Pachulia doing that slide-in move on Kawhi Leonard's landing, who knows what could have happened there? Because they had Golden State looking uncomfortable.
Yeah, okay.
They had Golden State looking uncomfortable. And they was a good team before they got Duncan. They just went to the next level after Duncan.
No, I'm just wondering. I think Pop is dope for sure. You know what I'm saying? He definitely is. But it's just I think like I just don't with Steve Kerr. In order for me to believe, I want to see him with a bunch of regulars and really coach. And you know what I'm saying? Because that's really with Spoelstra, you see that. It's based off what he calling. It's based off his defensive schemes. It's based off, this is all Spoelstra's mind out here on the floor. And the players executing it because they're under-talented and undersized. You know what I'm saying? Now you got the heart out there. They playing, but
I'm going to tell you right now, I'd rather have Ime Udoka over Steve Kerr.
Well, look what Ime Udoka did with the Rockets in 1 year.
Look at what he did with the Celtics in 1 year.
Well, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like,
Right, yeah.
That was Ime Udoka championship, to be honest, though. But we going to leave that alone. Yeah, that was Ime Udoka's championship right there. He was supposed to get that. But, cool. You know what I'm saying? I think it's kind of clear that he's a better coach than my man. So what's Mazzulla? I don't think Mazzulla's necessarily a bad coach. He just have a cold team. That's all.
When you get like it's like, if you play cards with somebody and you teaching them how to play and you shuffle the cards and they just happen to get dealt all the best cards.
Yeah.
They can even play things at the wrong time and still be very successful with that because they just got all the best cards.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's kind of like how it is with him and his situation. Now, given he was on the staff before, so he knew a little bit of the ends of what it's like. So
yeah, I mean, look,
but
Ime's official. He's better than Kerr. We know that. I think Spoelstra is better than Kerr. I think JB Bickerstaff is better than Kerr.
The Memphis coach, he gonna forever get my respect.
What's his name again? The white dude, right?
I forget his name.
Yeah, I'm saying.
But like to have that roster with them players, like it's literally John Morant and like a slow Jaren Jackson Jr.?
I mean, yeah. I mean, look, a lot of coaches, it's all, but you know, it's a business and it's all,
Right.
marketable stuff. And for whatever reason, I don't think Steve Kerr should have been the head coach for the USA team.
No, he should not have. I mean, I don't know how he earned that. How did he earn that? How
did JJ Redick earn this coaching job? I don't know.
Well, I think part of that is because they couldn't get nobody else. But
You know what I mean? Like, so Steve Kerr coached the USA team. So what, Greg Popovich just stopped doing it? Because when he did, remember he took over for that?
Taylor Jenkins is the Memphis head coach.
Taylor Jenkins.
But yeah, Popovich, I mean, I can understand Popovich not doing it because he's older. And it's like, at this day and age, it's like, is that going to be too much for him to have the responsibility of coaching the Spurs with his focus being on Wemby for the most part? His focus being on Wemby and now the players that they drafted and how that complements Wemby and how he can turn something with that. Like, does he want to take on the egos?
But don't Greg Popovich command respect, though?
He should. But you know how these younger players are. What have you done for me lately? Kind of deal, you know?
That's Greg Popovich. Like, what are you talking about? I done won championships in different eras, youngin. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I won championship by using diapers probably before you was born. So what are you talking about? You know
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly. But you know what? Like, there's this, I mean, amongst the basketball world, there's this internal civil war, I should say, going on in the world, in the basketball, as far as like comparing the eras. Like, you got that whole "we done with the 90s" thing.
Well, I don't see that argument is stupid, but go ahead.
They have that "we done with the 90s," and then a number of social media platforms have been saying that players are more talented today than they were in the past. So
Are they?
I mean,
or they
that's
just
why
got
I said
individual skill.
That's why I said that it's an internal civil war, because it's like the basketball world is warring against itself.
It's like boxing, and I hate to always do this, but it's like boxing. When it comes to
what I will say about that is this: for the 90s to not be as tough as the world has advertised it to, I believe that there is a lot of truth to that.
It's like boxing. You take one of these heavyweights, right? Oh, you know what I'm saying? No, I ain't gonna say heavyweights. One of the welterweights, fancy welterweights who punch off fancy. You throw them up against a guy like Sugar Ray Robinson if you want to, or Tommy Hearns. That's not gonna go the way you think, because they boxing out there, they handling business. You know what I'm saying? Or even a guy like Floyd Mayweather, who's not so fancy, right? Fancy. Defense first. You got to catch him. You know what I'm saying? It's like a thing in boxing now where Shakur Stevenson, they don't like him because he boxes. He actually boxes. Defense first. So the fight don't look exciting at all. You got to catch him. You got to hit him. He's not standing there to be hit. You know what I'm saying? It's just like basketball now where it's all offense, no defense. You know what I'm saying? In order to win, defense has to be implemented. And to be a good fighter, a great fighter, defense is first. And the fans don't always like that. When you always appeal to just strictly the fans only, the quality of the product go down. Because the fans only want to see exciting stuff and not none of the X's and O's. That's in any sport.
Which is, for me, it is exciting to watch defense. Somebody like that All-Star game. What year was that when the Detroit Pistons had like 4 players in the starting lineup?
That was either 03 or 04. One of them was in between that time.
One of them years when the Pistons had 4 players from the starting lineup in the All-Star game.
Mm-hmm. With Pierce.
And they put all 4 of them on the All-Star game.
Yeah.
They had them in at one time, and they was playing that defense. Them All-Stars from the West, they couldn't score.
Yeah.
that's exciting for me to watch because I'm like, what y'all gonna do?
Listen, I like the X's and O's. When it comes to basketball, when it comes to boxing, I love the X's and O's.
Now, like I said, is there some truth to the 90s not being as tough as people advertise it? I feel like yes, there's some valid truth to that.
Meaning?
Okay, so the 80s was probably the most competitive from top to bottom teams that the NBA history has had, probably because all of those teams were complete. And the 90s had 6 expansion teams where they had to tear apart some of those already established teams to create these 6. Now, that plays into it, but then you got to think about all the legends that was in the 80s that retired that didn't play in the 90s. So think about your Magic Johnsons, think about your Kareem Abdul-Jabbars, think about your Larry Birds, your Kevin McHale, like guys that made their names in the 80s and whatnot that didn't play in the 90s. So you had to replace all those superstars with who? Guys, and it's not that the 90s didn't have some good players. It's not that they didn't have great players. They didn't have great proven champion players in that era.
But guess what though? Even when it comes to saying that, because one of my favorite eras probably in the 2000s. Personally,
that's my favorite era.
But if you look at the 90s basketball, whether folks would say, oh, those guys, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? It wasn't exactly an easy night playing against them dudes because they played the game the right way too.
That and so, and then the other element to it is that was a more physical era. You was able to get depending on who you was able to get.
Yeah, but when they say skills and talent, right? There's in the NBA now, the skill level. I mean, you got
it's really only at the guard position.
Convoluted thing because it's like these dudes don't play basketball right. So it's like you look at the handles and all the dribbles and the fancy layup packages, but they don't play the game the right way. If you go and look at the 90s, or even those guards, even the 6th man, you're going to have a hard, difficult time with that guy because he can get to his spot in three dribbles, find his spot. They're going to do what they cold at, and they're going to force you to play the game.
How many dudes in the 90s was really like that, though?
No, I'm saying it ain't about that. You're not about to just go out there willy-nilly like how they play now and think you're going to win.
No.
That's not going to happen.
Like, I'm with you 1,000%.
Because they're still professionals.
So my thing is, they was more serious about their business in that era. So they studied their position and they studied you more.
Exactly. So you can have all the talent you want. But if you're not serious about your business, it don't matter.
I think that's what they mean.
They can mean that all they want to. But if the product tells the story. They can say whatever they want to say. What we see is what we see. I don't care what you say.
But it's not necessarily the player's fault in this. Once again, I'm pointing my finger directly back to the higher ups.
Oh, I agree.
Because they are the ones that determine what kind of league we're going to watch. Just like how David Stern catered to Michael Jordan in the 90s. Mm-hmm. This league is catering to this current league right now. It seems to be catering to the European players.
Well, listen, you have blame for letting whoever in your house you didn't want there. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, they so far going off into this is bad. Like they gonna have to you have to break everything down and have to risk losing some money for a few years and viewers to bring it back but they're not going to do that because of these new deals they got now. So they too far going off into it.
And look, this is the reason why I say the only way that the NBA players of today can be more skilled is if you just isolate it to the 2 guard. Because right now, if you compare center to center, that's false. If you compare power forward to power forward, That's false. If you compare small forward to small forward, you might be able to say something, but you leaning on guys that made their name in past eras that's still playing today. Bron, Kevin Durant, those guys.
You talk about comparing players, just position from past to present?
Right. Because if you compare center to center, Patrick Ewing, Hakeem Olajuwon.
There's really no conversation there.
There is no conversation there because the half-court game doesn't have the same value. Now, the defensive practices now, if you try that dump the ball down low kind of thing, and you just solely rely on that, if you don't have no shooters out there, they're gonna kind of expose that now because they're gonna be quick to double team and force you and put you in a position to where you're gonna take a bad shot, you're gonna turn it over, or you're gonna pass it out to somebody that can't shoot, and they just gonna live with that. The other thing about the 90s, zone defense wasn't allowed in the 90s. Zone defense didn't get legalized until I think it was 2003. I have to look it up.
The zone defense help the game now?
It does to a degree.
Because I still don't see defense zone and not.
Well, think about it. Miami exposed a lot of cats with zone defense.
When they utilized it. They did.
Right. And when Ime Udoka was the head coach for Boston Celtics, he used that zone defense a lot. Back when it was the Brooklyn, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and them dudes, they exposed that a lot because given zone defense was invented for players that aren't as good at playing one-on-one defense, but it turns this one-on-one matchup into, okay, you versus us kind of thing. So any great individual scorer is going to have somewhat of a hard time with zone defense because he's going to constantly run into another body.
Do you have an issue with zone defense? You sound like you don't like zone defense. Like that's a problem or something.
No, I don't have a problem with it. I'm just breaking down the basis of it. The schematics, the reason why it happened.
Because when you talk about zone defense, you always say that. Like they ain't had that back then. You know what I'm saying? Like
no. The reason why I say that is because for anybody that says certain things about certain players, the 90s, the main player that always gets brought up is Michael Jordan.
Right.
Michael Jordan did not conquer every single defense that you could be played against.
No.
Just because of the fact that zone defense wasn't allowed. And you see the kind of headaches that zone defense causes for other players that have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, like you go back to the Toronto championship. That boxing one zone defense with one man following Steph Curry wherever he was at. That boxing one, that gave Steph Curry a hard time. That gave the Golden State Warriors, and this is the greatest shooter that everybody says that this league has ever had.
Also, one of the most overrated players too, but that's cool though. Yeah, like Steph is dope, I'm
just saying that because these are the titles that people put on players.
Yeah, and but so, these are casuals that do this.
Not just casuals. It's these heavy basketball dudes that be saying the same stuff too. Chris Broussard be saying all this kind of stuff about these certain players.
How much do you take in stock of some of these? I love the odd couple and stuff, but how these guys, I almost feel like they have to say certain things just to say it. You know what I mean?
I don't pay a lot of attention to them because I know for the most part a lot of them, they have an agenda.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So it's like it's hard to really.
I trust my eyes and what I see and things of that nature. And so that's why I say the zone defense matters when you dealing with a Kevin Durant. When you dealing, I mean, if you don't have that one-on-one defender that can cause havoc, Because I'm not going to put Shane Battier up there because every battle that he had with Kobe had his way with him.
You talking about Shane Battier as a defender, right?
Right, as a defender.
You don't think he would? Dude, how many people stopping Kobe for real? Didn't like listen, this is the thing when it comes to NBA, right?
Right.
They say it all the time. You can't stop the great players. You just can't.
Right.
You can try to bother them.
Technically, you can. You just can't do it with a one-on-one kind of basis.
That's what the zone is for. Like
that's what the zone is for.
But is that a problem to use that? Because the thing is,
no,
everybody in the league,
that's smart.
You cannot guard none of these dudes one-on-one. If you think you about to stand in front of any of these cats one-on-one, you crazy. It's not gonna happen.
Right.
It's not gonna happen. I don't care how cool they are. They just too good from the 90s on up. So I can't fault nobody for using those zones.
Exactly. And so, but that's why I say there is some level of truth to every statement that gets said. It's just that people like to overinflate the truth and put lies on top of the truth, when if you just go back and look, you see it's not the truth.
Right. I mean,
so look, I'm not one of those we done with the 90s people. I'm not one of those guys. And I'm not one of the guys that feel like the players in this era are so much better than the players of the past. I'm not.
No, I don't. I think it's the flash, man.
If you go to the 2000s alone, that lineup of talent that existed in the league,
I honestly feel like those guys.
Like, you look at the power forward position alone.
Those
I can
guys
care less what Giannis doing.
Listen, Giannis. Those guys can compete in the 2000s.
Right.
They was just too official. I mean, to me.
Right.
Like, to me, you know what I'm saying? Like, they was just, they was cold like that. You know what I mean? But to be honest, I know people don't like Jordan like that. Or some don't.
It's 50-50.
But Jordan,
it's either you love Bron or you love Jordan and you hate
older Jordan did good in that era.
Yeah.
He did. So Jordan, and this is with zone defenses. He had a 40-year-old, 39-year-old Jordan. That's where skills, where people talk about skills. He was skilled at that. Michael Jordan can make that mid-range with his eyes closed. Okay? Hand in his face, everything. Zone defense don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but the question is, in this era, could a Jordan-like player be as dominant? Because while he over here chucking twos, if I'm efficiently making threes, Jordan's gonna be behind me regardless of what he does.
Right. No,
that's just simple math.
No, I'm just saying, like, skills pay the bills. Right. And when it comes to skills, it's not about the fancy stuff.
Right.
You gotta have the fundamentals down. That's why I say, if you play against a team in the 90s, right? If you take any average Joe team from the 90s basketball, right, versus one of these teams that don't have superstars, I guess, even if they had superstars, they don't play the game the right way, that won't look like people think it will look. Because
no, but I also don't think it'll be as tough as people like to make it sound either.
They have to guard them.
You're right, but the same holds for them.
You know what I'm saying?
They have to guard these guys too.
And just because you can shoot, that don't mean you pick the right spots. That don't mean any of that, because a lot of times, if we talking rules and everything, half these dudes be traveling. You know what I'm saying? So when you go for your shot, you traveling. When you crossing over, you traveling. You taking 3.5, 4 steps to the lane. All this means something. You know what I'm saying? All this means something. You know what I mean? So
the rules of the game determine a lot.
The
rules of the game determine a lot. And so I can't say 100% for sure that if you slide these players of today into the past eras, that they wouldn't be able to do something. I can't say that for sure. Just like I can't say for sure that it's a guarantee that those guys from the past would be able to do something in this era. I can say this, based on what I know about them and what they've done, if you give them the ball the way you're supposed to do, it's gonna be a long day for anybody that don't play defense.
And that's both sides, because anybody will tell you I'll say this. When you talk about those players back in the day, and when they have interviews, the stars, most of the time they say, who gave you the hardest time? It's always some dude you never heard of.
Right.
It's always some dude you never heard of.
Right.
Always. You know what I'm saying? Like this
right.
dude. So, yeah, they wasn't advertised like that. But just like how Rasheed Wallace was coaching that youngin, the objective to play in this league today is to get to your spot in 3 dribbles or less and get to your position to do what you're good at. And that's the thing, you know what I'm saying? These guys, they don't play the game the correct way, I must say. You know what I'm saying? And it shows.
Like I said, I'm not blaming it 100% on the players.
Yeah.
I'm blaming this on the league and what they want the league to look like.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you there. I mean, we there. I just think, like, as far as, like, when it comes to that, then the USA, you know, the USA, they should win.
It's impacting the product that's getting put on the floor in this Olympics.
It's very, but they should know better. Brian and them, they should know better, dog. Because they don't have nothing but...
They do, but the thing is, they're not playing with a guy that you can just dump it down to and he get busy like that.
No, they're not.
Anthony Davis ain't like that. Joel Embiid don't want to do that. Even when he's healthy, he don't want to do that.
He got hurt, right?
Something like that.
AD, he messed his ankle up. They might as well shut him down now.
If I'm LA, they took him out.
If I'm LA, hey, come on back, dog.
I thought it was Embiid that got hurt.
Embiid was hurt, but AD hurt his ankle.
Yeah.
I'm on the phone ASAP. Come on back.
Yep.
Come on back.
Don't even worry about that. Don't even worry about that.
You
done. I can care less about the gold medal. I'm trying to.
Yeah, you done, man.
I'm trying to get that one that matters in our league.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, look, at the end of the day, we went to Air Talk almost a little bit, didn't we?
A little bit,
which is fine. But
that's fine. I mean, we were supposed to go back there anyway, and that's been long overdue.
Yeah, I don't think it bothers me a little bit when these young cats talk about the old school players, because it's like, dude, they knew how to play. And when you know how to play, just like you said, game managers, those point guard game managers back then, if you go to all them teams, whether they was no names or not, they knew how to play that point guard position.
Right.
They knew how to play that point guard position. You know what I'm saying? The league is fiending for those kind of guys now.
Right.
Fiending for them.
So
they fiending for an actual real life center to go down low. You think these coaches won't take a Ducksworth or whatever my man's name was for the Blazers or something? You know what I'm saying? You think he won't take somebody like that for his team right now? A basic 7-foot center who could just grab rebounds and block shots. You think a coach wouldn't take that right now?
I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna say this name just because I know we've had conversations about this dude.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he was involved in the conversations. We didn't have conversations about him in particular, but he was involved in it to where we ended up talking about him.
Okay.
Eric Snow.
You don't even like him
in this. I don't.
You don't even like him, but I told you about Eric Snow. Hold on, man. I told you Eric Snow. He wasn't all that. He was a game.
He was bottom of the barrel for that league.
But
he was bottom of the barrel for that league. He was bottom of the barrel.
You will sign him quickly, huh?
Huh?
You'll sign Eric Snow quickly right now, wouldn't you?
That's how dry bones it is. That's how much. I mean, you agree, don't you?
Yeah, I agree. I'm not down on Eric Snow like everybody else is, because Allen Iverson, he had him a point guard who didn't make, mind you, Allen Iverson, yes, was the primary ball handler after they got half court. You know what I'm saying? After they got half court.
He can't. The dude was less than 6 foot tall. He can't do everything.
I'm just saying, Eric Snow was not. He was just a literal game manager, bro. He's exactly. But
that's what I'm saying. A guy like that. Now, given he has to have players to play with.
Uh-huh.
Because once again, we already established that it's not as good as people like to say it is.
Yeah.
But you throw Eric Snow on a team that has perimeter shooters.
Mm-hmm.
Like if Eric Snow was to be on a team like Oklahoma City.
Mm-hmm.
If he was to go to a team like Oklahoma City, or if he was to go to a team like who else can use him that's got shooters like that? If he was to go to a team, if he was to go to Philly, go back and play for this current Philly team with Maxey in them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he's the kind of player that won't get in the way. He just will stop things from becoming a wreck.
I told you that. When you was arguing with me, you was so blind with the Allen Iverson thing.
No.
I was telling you this. You know what I'm
I
saying?
never disagreed with that. What I'm saying is, in that era that he played in, that he went to the finals in, he's bottom of the barrel. You picking every other point guard in the league starting over Eric Snow.
Yeah, but you don't what they say, you don't appreciate nothing until it's gone.
And technically Eric Snow is a metaphor. Anybody that can do that is valuable, which should be valuable in this league because it's dry bone.
Yeah.
Now, given they played my man, Mr. Basketball of Michigan, that was at Michigan State.
Yep.
Cassius Stanley. They played him because Cassius Stanley was kind of that. And he can do a little something scoring a little bit. You know, that wasn't his forte, but talking about floor general, I'll be trying to find out where he at. Be like, look, you still hooping?
He probably overseas somewhere. A lot of these dudes be overseas, man. But you know what, though? And I don't blame them. They don't be wanting to come back to the NBA a lot of times. I'm not coming back. Why would I come back here? I'm living good over here. I'm getting playing time. I'm winning championships or whatever. They let me actually play. They respect me. Because, you know, overseas, if you good, the fans rock with you. It's not about none of that. If you cold, they rocking with you. So they probably feel better over that. Like, if you a player, say for instance, if you was a player, right, Josh, and if you wasn't highly touted, but you overseas making about $2 million a year, the fans rock with you, they buying your jerseys, you getting clock time, your teammates love you, coach love you, and then the NBA call you, hey, we want you to play 10 minutes a game here.
Click.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't want to come back either.
Click. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm depending on what country I'm playing in.
Mm-hmm.
Because after going over and seeing what life is like over in Europe and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to give me a number that I can't say no to.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So
if I'm making a solid $2 million over here, depending on what my tax situation is, because you know, I don't know what the tax situation is for them other countries like that, for people that live over there, for them athletes.
Yeah.
But I ain't in a rush to come back.
Yeah,
especially when I turn on the game. Especially when I turn on the game from my couch and I'm looking at the NBA stuff. I'm better than him. I'm better than him. I'm better than him. But they just don't want to give. Oh, okay. So they don't want to give him the ball. Okay, they want to do this kind of stuff. Oh, everybody's playing on the perimeter. Like all 5 players are standing at the perimeter. Like what in the world is going on here?
Yep. I think it's like this, and this is my feelings. Do you want to play basketball because you love the game, or do you want to just be known and popular? Because if you want to play basketball because you love to play, it's a whole lot of leagues out here you can play at, and you can make money and do your thing. You don't have to be in the NBA, and you can still make a living, send your kids through college, retire. That's where good money management come in at, because they say like 70-80% of the league go broke. We're all after getting all that money. So what that means, you know what I'm saying? At the end, like there's dudes that can make $3 million a year and be straight the rest of their life because they make good investments. They don't blow it. None of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be cool, me myself, if I was able to play.
What state you play for and what city you play for.
Me myself, if I was able to play in Europe for $2 million a year, I would do that in a heartbeat. Right. You know what I'm saying? and just make smart investments and be under the radar playing, doing something I love to do without the scrutiny. I'll take that deal, but
that's peace of mind.
Popularity is a drug.
Right.
So they want to be, you know what I mean, in the highest league.
And you know, me personally, I'm not the type of guy that I want to go somewhere where everybody knows me.
Yeah, like everybody.
Dog. I mean, I can't even pump my own gas. I can't order at a restaurant without you coming up to me and being like, "Yo, can I get a picture?" And something. No, you can't. I'm sitting down eating dinner right now.
Bro, like at the end of the day, ain't nothing like just, you know what I'm saying. If you got that's why they got guys that's rich that be behind the scenes and no one know who they are. They don't want people to know, at all. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, it's nothing like having a peace of mind where you got your dough, and then you at a nice restaurant with your woman. No one knows who you are. You just enjoying intimate time with your woman. You ain't got some cat. Hey, is that you? Hey, sorry, can I get a picture? Hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, that'll drive you crazy, man. In my opinion, I think it'll drive you crazy. You know what I mean? Right. But
I mean, well, some people is in love with having all the attention being on them.
You right. You right.
Some people is in love with that fact. They used to everybody bowing down to their every word and stuff like that. They used to getting the superstar treatment and stuff like that.
Yeah.
To where everybody gets where everybody potentially bows down to their feet and kisses them and stuff like that. You know, all of that stuff. You know, like certain people are used to that, and then when they get used to that, they start feeling like they entitled to that, to other people. That's where you get these other superstar situations where they come across regular people that don't worship the ground that they walk on it, and then they start looking at them like, do you know who I am? Yeah,
a regular person. That's what you are.
Somebody that bleed red blood.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to test that out and see?
Yeah, exactly. That'd be ridiculous. So it's like, you know, if I don't knock these dudes that go overseas, because you know you got casual people who talk junk about these guys. Like, oh, you just go. Sometimes they want to just. DeMarcus Cousins went overseas and seem like have a time of his life, winning the championship, enjoying playing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he was in the league, star.
Right. And you can bet your bottom dollar that while these players is over there at the Olympics, you know, they probably want to talk to some of the guys that's in the NBA, be like, yo, you want to come back? Nah. Or they probably...
Stephon Marbury, for instance. They love that dude. This dude lived in China. How long did he live over there? Do he still live over there? He probably still live over there. But he loved it over there. He loves it over there.
Yeah, because they put him up there. Like, he's more... Would you say that because like for a long time, like China was like big on Iverson, they was big on T-Mac. He's bigger than them.
He got a statue. You know what I'm saying? But he got a statue. But they love T-Mac though. They love T-Mac.
Right.
Yeah, I think because they love them some T-Mac, dog. He probably like T-Mac might be up there. They love T-Mac over there because of his association with Yao. They love him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but they Stephon, he went over there. He seemed happy. It's weird, but he seems happy and everything like that over there. But it's a different culture over there. It's about respect over there. About respect over there.
A lot of these countries is going to be like that. A lot of the other countries. You travel outside the country, the United States, and you see a whole lot of these other countries has more of that old school style type of way of looking at people.
Yeah.
Now there's always some that don't fit that description. There always is some. But there is some countries out there, a lot of countries out there that still flow with that respect of people and things of that nature that, you know, you can tell there's a difference. And not to mention the food is better in most of these countries because they ain't got all of these preservatives and stuff sprayed on them and all the other stuff that gets put in our food over here. So not only is he eating good, you know, but you know, it's less pressure. You know, because there's some countries that it's like the whole town shuts down at a certain time.
I respect that. I respect that. Like that, I always want to visit one of them countries like that. I haven't been to one yet. Don't they do that in Italy or something?
I don't know if they do it in Italy because I didn't notice when I was there.
Okay.
But like I've heard of other countries being like, yeah, we gonna shut down at like 3:00. Everybody go home and handle whatever business they got, and then we gonna come back and we gonna be here at like 7:00.
Listen, family is important.
Right.
And time with your family is very important.
Right.
You cannot pay for time with your family. You cannot. Money does not. It's just like when you hear about the best moments you remember with your parents is when you spend time with them. It's not what they bought you.
You're right.
So you got to have a balance.
Right.
The best moments with people is when you spend time with them, not what they bought.
Right.
I don't never hear nothing about. So It's like, I mean, you know, them guys over there probably just love the experience. They love to be respected. Respect goes a long way. You rather be where you want it. I don't want to be like for me, I love the NBA, but if they don't want me,
forget them.
I don't want to be there. It's like a hip hop artist. They'd rather go to the UK than to deal with the US because the UK love real hip hop for real. They gonna rock with you, listen to your music, all that stuff. Here, none of that. So you hear a lot of these older artists like, man, I go to UK, man, they show love. They still listen to my stuff from 1996. You know what I'm saying? Like it's new. And they respect it and all that. You know what I'm saying? No hating. So they'll go tour over there instead of tour over here. You rather go where once you get older, you realize you rather be where you want it, not where you tolerate it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Team USA. I know we veered off.
It's cool. I titled it. Listen, this is why I titled it. Because I'm making the thing now.
Got you.
College Football 25 review. 2K25 gameplay, let your thoughts, a general conversation. Because it's what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Now, but as far as Team USA, still not a fan of Derek White being on the team. Don't know what's going on. Steve Kerr don't know how to coach.
That's crazy.
Steve Kerr don't know how to coach. For him to not play Jason Tatum and Tyrese Halliburton, both of them didn't get no minutes in that Serbia game. Both of them. I don't know. But mind you, this is a coaching staff that Steve Kerr is the head coach with Tyronn Lue, Eric Spoelstra, and I think Grant Hill is over there too.
Right. He coach? I thought he was just a dude that
he's something associated with Team USA.
Okay.
Either way, I don't think excuse me. I don't think the other countries have caught up enough to where they can capitalize on the United States deficiencies.
What you mean now? So wait a minute. As you say that, because wasn't folks just saying that they starting to take over the game because of all the Euros that's running the NBA now?
Right. So we can look at that, right? Serbia has Nikola Jokic.
Yes.
That's one guy.
Yes.
What country Luka came from?
Don't matter.
That's one guy. Greece.
Mm-hmm.
Giannis is just one guy. A lot of these countries, they just have one guy that is really, really like that. Canada is the closest country to doing something because they have an abundance of good players. They got Shea over there.
Mm-hmm.
They got RJ Barrett over there, Dylan Brooks over there, blah, 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 blah. Right? Germany has Dennis Schroeder and the Wagner brothers.
So would you say it's something they're trying to push in the NBA game, or we just that bad?
I believe they've been trying to push European players because that's more money for the NBA.
Because, like you said, you mentioned one dude.
Right. They just got one guy.
One out of each. You know what I'm saying?
Regardless of how cold that one guy is, when the U.S. steps on the floor, we potentially putting 5 guys on the lineup, or at least we should.
Yeah.
If not 5 guys, at minimum 3.
Mm-hmm.
3 guys.
I agree. Listen, you talking to someone who agrees.
Right. So,
I agree.
Yeah. So, it's just one of those things where it's like winning gold is still expected.
Shouldn't it be though?
It should be.
Do you expect less?
Even with bad coaching, even with a roster that's not complete as far as having the best at their positions, but you still got guys out there that is really like that.
We shouldn't have no issues.
Well, we should have some issues. Now, I'm not going to say that we ain't going to have no issues at all.
You said, just like you said, one dude.
Exactly. One guy.
Like Serbia. Look at Serbia. You said that you mentioned some names.
Right.
Right? But you had...
Yeah, Jokic and Bogdanovic.
Versus. Exactly.
You're right. Yeah, but what I'm saying is like those guys that are great, right? That play for their team, their country. Those guys are good enough to have spurts to where the Team USA coach has to call a timeout and we be like, look, we got to adjust something here.
Yeah, I mean,
we got to change something up here because he over here acting the fool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, look.
We already don't play defense in our country. So he gonna have an all-you-can-eat buffet potentially with no matter who.
You listen. You are absolutely correct. It's just the fact that, like you said, you got to the meat of it. We shouldn't be losing. Period. I don't care who they got.
We shouldn't. We should.
It don't matter who they got or how cold they is in their
USA
country.
should not be losing.
Or even if they come over here in cold. Once we step out there. All that shut down completely.
When you talking about the NBA, then it's a different story, because the NBA in itself, when they come, we already did our top 10 players in the league, didn't we? That was like our very first episode or something like that.
I don't even remember who we said.
We had all foreign players in the top 5. We had all foreign players in the top 5.
You right.
It's one of those things where it's like, okay, all foreign players in the top 5. Technically, Embiid shouldn't even be on our team, on Team USA's team. But
that's a very weird situation.
But that's that one rule where they like let one player that's not of the country's descent or something like that be able to play on the team, which makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I don't get it. I'm sorry, I don't get that. But
that was the case back in the day. I think it was the Redeem team. That year, the only team that they was worried about was Spain, because Spain had the Gasol brothers with Serge Ibaka.
Yeah.
So you talking about causing all kind of trouble down in that paint. Defensively and offensively.
We shouldn't lose. I don't care how you break it down. It shouldn't be. We should be winning by 25 every time at minimum.
But these are the same guys. Like I said, depending on the country. We saw Luka do this to Devin Booker, Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton. Like, wasn't it like 75-25 at halftime or something like that? He was
doing what he was doing by himself, bro.
By himself. Well, no, Jalen Brunson was over there, but he's not on Team USA. I gotta tell it like it is. He was over there. He was on the team.
I don't even know how this man's name came up.
Well, I was just saying because Jalen Brunson is viewed as a star player in today's NBA.
Can't be viewed as a star. He's a star.
I said star, not superstar. I said star.
He's a star though?
Yeah,
or he's just a known guy?
He's a star because listen, we ain't gonna get into a Jalen Brunson thing. We've done that enough. It's beating a dead horse.
Exactly. I'm not gonna agree.
It's beating a dead horse.
At the end of the day, man, we supposed to cook everybody. Like, I respect other countries. I don't want people getting this twisted like I don't respect other countries in basketball, right? I do, but
we ain't on no Gilbert Arenas type stuff.
No, but we supposed to have the best of the best. As far as physical, as far as when it comes to the physical, as far as when it comes to the skills, the talent, and all that. Now, you can have the fundamental, huh?
But when you pair that expectation to what we just got through talking about with the era stuff, and with what the players that we got now, and they practices and whatnot, it makes sense that other countries can compete with us now.
No, I mean you're right here. I'm not poo-pooing what you're saying here. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying like we should be.
Because here's the thing. Luol Deng is not the only player that's giving back to his country, trying to give people opportunities to play this game.
He meant to say Luol Deng, y'all.
Yeah.
I said Ding. Luol Deng.
I'm getting a look. It's about time.
Hey, I gotta do whatever anyway. I just made the what's the name, so whatever. Before I go, do you want me to clip up that review and put it on the sideline?
You do whatever you want to do, player.
Cause all right, I'll clip up that college. I'm gonna put it as a whole episode, but I'm gonna clip up the college and make that like a Jay sideline thing too.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be on both. You know what I mean? Yep. It's gonna be up tomorrow though. It's gonna be up tomorrow.
Got you.
So, well, that's that.
Welcome to F&S Network. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, share the content. Can I rap real quick? Can I rap? On the path to being the best power in the airwaves, jingling the way we break it down the game. Wide body on the highway, we not in one lane, no nonsense. Logic with every topic. The talk too real, the party we not invited. Want the truth? F&S subscribe to it. The death shows, just play and ride to it. The voice is more important than the image. Feel every word spoken, no need for camera tricks. We on the grind, freeze corner with Jay sideline. DBP next in line. You gotta feel he did know when you're fired. We in it for the long haul, the fatigue's off. We don't get tired. Nah, we don't get tired. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. F&S Network, we here to stay.